Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial for you for this baby blanket. I am using, well, actually, my daughter used and designed this blanket for her friend's baby shower, and she used Bernat Bundle Up. So these are the colors: Misty Gray, Sky Blue. This is called Beluga, and she used Cloud White. These are the skeins that have 267 yards of yarn. So she used one of each of these colors, and whatever color you decide to do the border, you'll need two. This is how much I have left over, however, after on the second one. So you do have the option to make this a little bit bigger of a blanket. This is just a nice 34 by 34 inch blanket. So in this tutorial, I'll be showing you this stitch, which is just called the crumpled griddle. It's simple double crochet, single crochet, but we stack the double crochet onto the double crochet from the previous row. And then I'm going to show you how to make this ribbed border, and I've kind of simplified the way to do the corners from my previous videos that I want to show you. And another thing I did this time is starting the border just on one of the edges. I believe I began it here so that we're not doing the changes in the corner. So it's just a simple round of single crochet, and then these are alternating double crochets, and this finish with a round of single crochet. So I think this is just such a nice, easy gift, quick. She made it in just a few days. It makes a great baby shower gift. So, and bundle up yarn is one of our favorites to make baby blankets with. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with a chain, and you'll want to make that any even number. I'm going to chain 16. Now, the blanket starts with the color white, but white is sort of hard to see right off the bat for me to teach you how to do this. So I'm starting with the blue. So I made 16 chains, and this is the practice swatch where you really are going to learn if the hook size that's appropriate for you for the drape and gauge that you want. So this is the eye. Let's begin in the second chain from the hook with a single crochet, and in the next chain work double crochet. Now we're going to repeat that. Single crochet into the next one, and then double crochet. Now repeat this all across the row, and your last stitch should be a single crochet. Okay, so here I am to the last chain, and I will work one single crochet. So if you want to count your stitches, you should have 15. So we started with an even number of chains, but we began in the second chain from the hook, and that would leave us with 15 chains to work, and that gives us 15 for our number. Now chain one and turn your work. And let's begin the crumpled griddle stitch, which you are working single crochet into the previous row's single crochet and double crochet into the previous row's double crochet. Now make sure you're working underneath both little V's. I'm inserting my hook into both of them. And this is what we call the crumpled griddle. I guess because these, you know, the double crochets kind of crunch down. Now, if you're working griddle stitch, the difference is you're working opposite. So I would be working single crochets into the previous rows, double crochets, and double crochets into the previous rows, single crochets. So it's just a little bit of a difference. Last stitch will always be a single crochet, and first stitch will always be a single crochet. Always chain one and turn. Okay, so every color change is 6 rows. So I'm going to finish off camera 6 rows of this stitch, and then I'll show you how to change colors. Okay, so how did it go? I've got my 6 rows, and now in order to change color, just work your single crochet, and before pulling through on the last step, just stop right there and pull through with the new color. Now chain 1 and turn your work and begin again. So every color change is 6 rows. Go ahead and clip after every color change. Give yourself a little tail to weave in later. So there are going to be some tails to weave in. It just, with the 4 different colors carrying up the side, it was just a bit too much. But that is personal preference. If you want to carry the yarn up the side, you are more than welcome to do that. So let me work a little bit here and get another 6 rows put on here. And I'll color change again, and then we'll get that border started. Okay, well, I'm going to stop here for our sample, but I think you get the gist. We're just doing 6 rows of changes, so pretend this is your last row. We're going to go ahead and pull through and cut yourself a tail. And then before we begin the border, you will start weaving in the ends with your tapestry needle, and you just can go in and out of the stitches any which way to get them hidden. So I usually take a couple passes one way, come back another way, maybe go down a row. And clip it close. And you're good. Take a minute here and weave in these other ends, and then we'll get the border started. Now, one other tip I want to give you is, I know sometimes it can be confusing to count the rows, but Annie realized that all the ends always end up on the same side of the blanket. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, you'll always be changing colors on one side of the blanket. And maybe it would help you to know that it's opposite of the tail, the starting tail side. So little tricks like that can sometimes help a beginner. Okay, before we start the border, what I want you to do is measure how tall each stripe is. Mine is 2 inches. So we know that this is 6 rows equals 2 inches. So we're going to take how many stitches are in 2 inches. You can do this anywhere. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get 7 stitches. So what this means is that you want to work 7 stitches per these 6 rows. That way we get the same number of stitches along the edge of our blanket as we have across the top. We're trying to make this as even as possible. So another thing I am going to encourage you to do as well is go ahead and pull up a loop somewhere not in the corner. I'm thinking that it'll be a lot easier to work the corners without having to worry about changing directions and joining. So just pull up a loop, chain 1, and single crochet into that stitch. So the first round of border will be single crochet. So now work single crochet into each stitch. And when we get to this last stitch, let's work 3 single crochets. That's our first corner. Okay. So now we're going to work the best way possible to the end. We want to try and make sure we get 7 stitches across these 6 rows. So I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have our 3 that made up the corner. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this last one, I'll work 6 and 7. Now it'll be a little bit easier. Here we go, let's start this one. So just anywhere along this row, work an extra one. I think I'll do it right in the middle. I just worked 2. Here we go. See, that looks doing pretty good, getting it nice and even. There's 3. Let's work 4 and 5, and then 6 and 7. Okay, now we're here to this corner. Let's work 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're at the end. We're just going to work underneath the stitches and around that chain. Okay, so finish that up around this side over here, and I'll meet you back at the top. Okay, here we are back at the first, and I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 3, and I'm turning. So now in this next stitch, we will work 1 double crochet and work 1 double crochet into each single until we get to the corner. Now in the center single crochet from the previous round, work 1 double crochet chain 1, and double crochet. This will be our new corner stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So now continue that, working that all the way around, and work that corner combination into the center single crochet of the previous row. And then I will meet you back at the end of this round. So I'm back at the end of this round, and I will just simply slip stitch underneath the chain 3 right there, chain 3 again. Now I am going to work the ribbing stitch, which is alternating front post double crochet, just working a regular double crochet, and then back post. So I come from the back, press that post to the back, and I'm just working a regular double crochet. So front post, pop it to the front, back post, pop it to the back. Okay, we're approaching our first corner, and we essentially really don't do anything different. I mean, work around every post that's in the previous row, but here we are to this chain 1 space, and we're going to make that exact same corner stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That will go around every chain 1 space. Now, we want to keep the pattern, so the last one we did was a back post. So I'm going to reach around and pop it to the back. So it kind of keeps it looking very nicely on the corners. Now, just continue alternating, and you might end up differently on the next corner, like end up on a front post. So just begin again on the front post. We're just trying to make it look as neat as possible in the corners. So work that double crochet, chain 1, double crochet around the chain 1 space. Okay, so here's how you'll join around. Just work that last double crochet. We're not going to work the chain. We just slip stitch around the chain 3 and then chain 3. So you'll just work this around the same direction for as many times around as you want. I did 3 more times. And when you're done, oh, before I go on, what I was going to tell you is that, so yes, some of my corners I ended up working back post on those 2 in the corner, and these ones ended up being front post. So whatever you do, make it the same after you make the corner stitch, just to make it look neat on any corner. Okay, so say you join on the very last round, you'll chain 1 and then turn. When you're doing the ribbing, don't worry about turning, just join and continue around. But this is the last round of single crochet, and so we are going to work 1 single crochet around in the top of each stitch. And when you get to the corner, chain 1, work your 3 single crochets, and then begin working 1 around. So those will be our corners. And when you finish the round, you'll just slip stitch to that starting single crochet, and you're done. Weave in those ends and you're done. So hopefully on your practice swatch, you'll really be able to figure out your personal tension. So like what I said, Annie realized that her starting chain was really loose, so she actually took it out, started again, started with a smaller hook and then switched to the larger hook. But you might have a good tension with just the hook that you choose. So anyway, those are just some tips for how to create your blanket. So I hope you enjoy this pattern. Enjoy making this blanket. It is, like I said before, just such great yarn. It really does make a good baby shower gift, to gift a blanket made with Bernat Bundle Up. All right, we'll see you guys another time. Thank you so much for stopping by.